a long day. And after a long day of interviews, there's nothing I like more than sitting and reading. Today I interviewed many people. First, I started with Zachary Sullivan, a chemist who Annabelle Williams mentioned dating.
Und hallo there. It is I, world-renowned chemist, Dr. Zachary Sullivan, and former boo of American movies, Annabelle Williams. Yes. I say former, I mean very former. The romance was as steamy as my goggles after a long day in the lab, yes. But she was alcoholic, yes, and clingy. Annabelle is very sad with what happened to Kenneth Myers. She was a big star in lots of movies. This is sad. I find out so late what happened to Kenneth Myers in German tabloid. For I was out of the country at chemistry convention. Myself, I am sad with what happened to Kenneth Myers, but, you see, I am man of science. He is man of art. We do not have, how you say, chemistry. He is dead.
Do I know Monsieur Myers? Oui. That stinky little rat tried to ruin my career. He said I was not believable as a French woman. Can you believe this? Neither can I. Look, am I glad he is hamburger meat now? Of course. Did I kill him? No. I was too busy baking baguettes and wearing berets. Because I am French.
You remember that one time he put a real bullet in the prop gun, and he said just to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
And you know what? It did. It got results.
It really did.
You can look back. People think that's stage urine. It's not.
I just about shot up 7 feet in the air.
To think, the last words he said to me were, "Be careful. She's old. She's desperate." Look who's old and desperate now. Whoever did this. Thank you.
I think I killed him. Well, I can tell you this. If I had done it, I'd know.
But I'm frustrated. And not only because this book doesn't have any pictures in it, but also because all of those people are 100% cleared. They all had solid alibis, so none of them could have been the murderer. So, I interviewed someone else. Annabelle Williams' brother, Rico Williams. Much like Annabelle, he was very interesting and had some interesting information to offer me.
Zachary Sullivan? I know him. He's my best friend.
Your best friend?
Probably know him better than anyone else.
Ah.
In fact, I'm the guy that introduced him to Annabelle. Annabelle's always been a fan of accents, so I thought they'd be a perfect match. Shame it didn't work out, though.
Do you think your sister was involved in the murder of Kenneth Myers?
My sister killing Myers? I wouldn't put it past him.
Oh, really?
The guy's a jackass. Kidding! Kidding.
Okay.
Annabelle couldn't even hurt a fly. I remember one time she was bawling over stepping on an ant. Though, I'd never seen her as sad as when she didn't get a part in the show. But you know who I've seen more angry at Myers?
Who?
Bernard Bishop.
I hate that guy.
I remember one time I was walking over to the theater to meet up with Annabelle, and I see Bishop and Myers duking it out, yelling at each other left and right, words going all over the place, and then I see them split. And while I'm walking over, Bishop passes me stomping, and I hear these words come out of his mouth. I could kill him. Now, if those aren't the words of a murderer, I don't know what is.
Well, thank you very much for that. Where were you around the time of Kenneth's death?
Annabelle and I were getting dinner at some Mexican restaurant last weekend. That's when she spilled the beans to me that she didn't get the part. I told her everything was going to be all right, and then I'd do something about it.
Didn't expect the man to be murdered before I could give him a piece of my mind. So, for me, I think Bernard's the prime suspect, considering his words. Anyways, what's this got to do with me? I got business to attend to, so stop pressing me.
Today I set out to interview a local by the name of Beatrice Myers, Kenneth Myers' sister. But the relationship doesn't go much further than a shared last name. Apparently, there's a lot of animosity between them. She's a theater director just outside of Brooklyn, so later today I head over to her house to see what I can dig up.
Hello, the name's Beatrice Myers. Yes, Myers, you heard correctly, like Kenneth Myers, the dead guy. I was never married, or else I would have gotten rid of the name 20-something years ago.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a theater producer in New York City. I produce multiple award-winning shows a year. I was born in Williamsburg, Virginia, but I've been in the city so long I'm convinced I was never not a New Yorker. You know, when you used to think of my last name, you used to group it with Kenny, too. We had a perfect brother-sister duo going. Perfect. Then one day, he says he wants me to meet some other producer chick he met at Yale, the up-and-coming Marilyn Smith. I'm thinking 3's a crowd, but okay, we could use the publicity. Apparently, 3 is a crowd because next thing you know, the two of them are producing together and leave me high and dry. He got a job with her without even asking me. His partner. At the time. First. I couldn't even tell you the last time we spoke because all I can remember was screaming at him when I found out he'd replaced me. But I'm the one in the Times they call the greatest producer that ever hit Broadway. Let's face it. I never needed him. He's the one who needed me. Look! He goes off with this Miss Smith and they have 1 hits before producing a bunch of flops. And then when he goes and gets himself killed.
Right. How do you feel now that your brother is dead?
Am I happy that he's dead? No, I'm not a lunatic, he's my blood. Am I devastated? No. I didn't need any of his money. And the man left me alone, in the city, to fend for myself, and then hadn't spoken to me for 20 years. I probably couldn't even tell you what his house looked like, or whatever. I guess I'd say I'm surprised. He was a good guy, blah, blah. I didn't think anyone else hated him as much as I did, but now that he's dead, seems like there isn't a person in the city who didn't secretly hate him. I wish I'd known. I would have started a club. Means you must got a lot of suspects then, huh?
You're sure right about that, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Yes, my job just got 500 times easier. Pictures! Anyways, today I talked with Margaret Eastwood, a casting director who worked closely with Kenneth Myers. She also gave me some valuable information, was a little oblivious to a lot of clues that were thrown directly towards her direction.
I told you to stop following me and stop questioning me. I don't care about Kenneth's murder. I have 3 plays and a musical performer and an actor who will not stop calling me. Kenneth's death is the least of my concerns. Well, since you're so persistent, in our most recent play, the one about beans, everyone and their mother had a grudge against Kenneth Myers. Actors, crew, someone in the pit, I think. All screaming, cussing, putting cigarette burns on each other's papers. Either they were hungry for blood, or really good at acting. I hope it was the second one. I'm always looking for talent.
Did Kenneth ever seek help during these stressful times?
Kenneth was always the type of person to think of others before he thought of himself. He knew how hard it was for me to see a fake family turn into real-life enemies. That's why he would write little crossword puzzles in my script to make me feel better.
What a kind soul.
Yeah, he cared a lot about the arts. He was a big prop collector, too. He even carried around the bloody knife we used for the big fight scene in the play. Even though Bernard Bishop wanted to carry it around the whole time, they had this huge quarrel about it. It was all drama, if you ask me. Do you mind if we step under this thing? Sorry. Is that the end of your questions? Because I'd really like to go. Can I go?
Actually, I still have a couple more questions. Can you describe the specifics of that quarrel?
Basically, in short, Bernard wanted the knife. Kenneth didn't want him to have it. Thought he was too clumsy. It only got worse when Kenneth thought that Bernard had stolen something from his bag. I know that's not true, though. I saw a stagehand tampering with his bag while they were arguing. At least I think it was a stagehand. I don't really know what one looks like. I only deal with talent.
All right, well, that is all very helpful information. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Kenneth's always been one of my favorite directors. And let me tell you, I will never cast a murderer again, okay? Actually, I have a question for you. Do you think Humphrey Bogart will be in a play about beans? He'd never hurt a fly. I can tell you that much.
Today, the chief wanted to show some local kids what a real detective's apartment looks like. So I'm outside for the day. And I've always hated nature ever since I was a little boy. Being eaten alive by bugs and stung by bees and wasps is repulsive to me. One time a man was murdered in the park, and rather than investigate it with Ida and rhymes, I took a hammer to my own ribcage so I could be on medical leave. Anywho, my investigation today that I just concluded was with a nameless member of the Beanfia who gave me some valuable insight as to both the organization and who I am. All right, sir. Please state your name and occupation.
I am Legume number 3, and I am involved with the organization known as the Bean Mafia. I mean the Rice and Beans restaurant.
Okay. What do you do at the restaurant?
What do I do around there? What can you eat with beans? Anything. Whatever the boss wants, I do. That's how it's always been, and always will be. You know, actually, one time, the boss, she says to me, and number 1, she calls over and says, I just want to tell you, boys, that I appreciate what you do for me. You know, you're the best little pair of legumes I ever could have asked for. Now get back to work, you lazy bums! I don't pay you for nothing! Man, that felt good. Like lentil soup good. But ladies, you're a good human being.
And did you know Kenneth Myers?
Kenneth Myers? Yeah, I know him. He was actually putting on a little play I wrote. Yeah, the boss lady, she liked it, and so she pitched it to him one day when he was eating at the restaurant. It's called I Been Thinking. There's a little pun there in the title, but I assure you it is very serious. Kenny was a good guy, but I don't think he really got it. It was a bit too philosophical for him. You see, he kept trying to take out the bean-related stuff. Bean-related stuff is the essence.
What is this show about?
Well, it's actually a epistemological existentialist meditation in which the beans and their relationships are a allegory for the human condition. I started writing it because I'd been wondering, is there more to life than beans, peas, and lentils? Then I realized that legumes, they're a microcosm of our world, and there are wonderful things I ain't never gonna see or do, but I can live those things through beans. Because beans is important. Did you know that every language has a word for bean? That ain't no accident. Dagiolo, frijole, haricot, mame. Beans is global. Beans is universal. Like, for example, you and some guy from Long Island might have your differences, might not get along, but really, deep down, you're both beans. Just beans. And sure, you might be a pinto, he might be a lima, but to God, you're beans. You're both beans.
If it's not offensive to ask, what bean are you?
Me? I'm a garbanzo. Yeah. I'm gonna be the best freaking garbanzo you ever seen.
Why are you a garbanzo?
Well, I had this old friend of mine. I always looked up to him, and he said he was a garbanzo. We was real close, me and him, 2 beans in a pod. So I figured I'd be a garbanzo too. Then he got mixed up with some soybeans. We don't talk much anymore. Any other questions, buddy? I got some beansness to take care of.
All right, ladies. Anything good today? Yeah, sister. I had a discussion with a man, a nameless man, who showed me the true meaning of the human condition.
I learned the true meaning of the human condition long ago, from a man in an alley with a wispy beard who was holding a rusty metal spoon that he banged against a ceramic pot, which rang melodiously through the streets of Brooklyn and the universe. I've never been the same.
To be honest with you, I think I am now more interested in discovering who this man is than I am in solving the murder of Kenneth Myers. Oh man, me too.
Damn it, you two. I need you to be like a man who has lost his basketball and must decapitate himself in order to keep playing. Get your head in the game.
Well, we've all got our final interviews lined up for tomorrow. Let's get some rest so that tomorrow we'll be rested. All right then, let's catch some Z's while catching some murderers.